Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
Whenever you are
good
ready, you can
afternoon,
start.
sir. Myself, Janani R. from BSc MSc Forensic Science, and I'm the monitor of this session. And we have Harsh Panchal, sir, as the host of the day. So, a warm welcome to all from NFSU Goa campus. The National Forensic Sciences
And we have
University, with the status
Harsh
of an
Panchal sir
institution of
as the
national
host of the day.
importance, is the world's first
So a
and only
warm welcome
university
from
dedicated to
NFSU
forensic,
Goa campus.
behavioral,
The National Forensic
cybersecurity,
Sciences
digital
and we have
forensics, and allied
Harsh
sciences. Of an
Panchal sir
institution
as
objective,
the
national
host of the
filling,
day.
the accurate shortage,
So
and
a
the
warm welcome
increasing demand for
dedicated
forensic
NFSU
experts
Goa
in the
campus.
country and
The
around the
National
world.
Forensic
As
Sciences
we
and
begin
we have
celebrating October
Harsh
as
Panchal
National
sir
Cybersecurity
as the
National
host of the
Filling,
day.
the accurate shortage,
So a
and
warm
increasing
welcome
demand
dedicated
forensic
NFSU
experts
Goa
as part
campus.
of the country and
The
around the
National
world.
Forensic
We
Sciences
begin
and we have
celebrating first ever
Harsh
as
Panchal
National
sir
Cybersecurity
as the host of the day.
along with
So
immense
a
prestige
warm
and increasing
welcome
demand
dedicated NFSU.
Dr. Gaurav Gupta is currently an additional director with the Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology at Government of India. He is the first Indian to earn a doctorate in the field of digital forensic. He was also facilitated by the man of science, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, as Young Scientist Award of India in Science Congress 2010. Dr. Gaurav is on a mission to create awareness about technological frauds in society. He has been a mentor and a guide to many research students and interns and has a rich experience of 20 years. He has worked in Big Four and served as a faculty member at the IIT Delhi. He has delivered over 150 talks, including keynotes, and has published more than 60 technical research papers. He is the author of the bestseller book Cyber Unsafe, which is available on Amazon. So, once again, sir, a very warm welcome. So, before starting the session, a small note that all the questions will be taken at the end of the sessions where you can post your questions in the chat box. Now, over to you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone. I'm really thankful for the organizers to give me opportunity where I can talk about cyber world where a lot of cyber crimes are happening. So today my talk will consist of two different topics. So one part will be dedicated to the open problems, open research problems and challenges which are faced by a digital forensic community. And then I will also talk about what can we do in our digital life and how can we avoid cyber crimes, how criminals are doing fraud against us. So I will also talk about all these topics. So these are the two aspects which I will be speaking about. Are you recording the session, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me share my presentation with you. Just give me a second. Yeah. Can you see my presentation?
Your presentation. Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay. Yeah. So I will talk about cyber unsafe. I'm working as additional director, scientist E in Ministry of Electronics and IT. And we all know cybersecurity is very, very important. But cybersecurity is not only important from personal or enterprise point, it is both. If we are not following cybersecurity in our personal life, eventually we will lead to a lot of problems in organization also. Because today what happens is we have mobile phones, right? Which is convergence of all devices. We had cameras, digital cameras, handy cams, digital diary, Walkmans, and so many different device, calculator, everything has converged to mobile phone. So now my mobile phone is not only having data about me, it's my photo, it is having my personal data like photographs, videos, call records, chat records, but it is also being used in my offices. It has my office app, email configured. I take this phone to my office network and connect to their Wi-Fi and their enterprise network. So if something goes wrong with my personal devices, it will impact organizational security also. So it is both. Cybersecurity is very, very important from both the points, organization as well as individual. So I have done some research work and found out that what are the top 10 challenges which digital forensics is going to face going forward. There are a lot of things, and these are some of the research problems which you people can take up as a research, right? So these are the issues which I think are going to be really, really problematic. These are the challenges which digital forensic community needs to address today so that they can be ready tomorrow, right? So why all these challenges which I'm going to talk about are important? They are important because, as I told, convergence of technologies are happening. Everything is becoming and integrating and working in hand. We have IoT, we have 4G to 5G transition, which is coming up. IPv4 to IPv6 transition has already happened mostly, and it is still happening. So technology is changing at a rapid speed. This rapid speed of change of technology, along with the convergence, is actually giving rise to a lot of complexity and lot of new challenges which are there in front of digital forensic community. So these are the reasons because of which challenges are emerging. And we all thought digital forensics, if I go back in time, 2001 was the time when this standard digital forensic term was coined. Before that, this field was known by many other names. Somebody was calling it computer forensics, network forensics, software forensics, and whatnot. So digital forensic term was coined in 2001 in DFRWS forum, Digital Forensic Research Work Group's annual event. And then 2001 to 2010 was the golden era of digital forensics. Because right now what we are having is a challenging era, right? So 2001 to 2010, 10 years were very, very good. Whatever digital forensic community wanted to do, they could do. They could recover deleted data. They could find evidences easily because criminals were not knowing how technology is working behind. They were using technology to do frauds, but they did not knew what are the evidences which are cropping up and what tools digital forensic community is using and law enforcement agencies are using. That was not known. From 2010 to 2020, we started to see technology change fast. It went to the grassroots level. Everything and anything and everything which most people do today from 2010 to 20, lot of technology related stuff was happening, and criminals were also looking for how to mitigate evidence, how to make sure evidences are not admissible. So in those 10 years, slowly criminals understood how they can misuse technology but still can get away with it. Our laws are taking time to catch up because technology is changing fast. So now from 2020 onwards, we are seeing a lot of challenges are being faced by digital forensic community because of slow progression of laws and very fast progression of technology. So that speed mismatch is there. And that's where, a lot of privacy related issues, techno legal matters, internet related issues, social media is being used to do frauds. Smartphones, you cannot extract evidences. Their encryption level has gone high. These are some of the things which are happening. Then cloud, once upon a time, cloud was just one of the place where you had data. But today we have laptops or devices which do not store local information. Everything is in cloud. So cloud investigation, blockchain, with the advent of 5G, which was launched recently, billions of IoT devices, starting from fridge to your air condition to whatnot, there would be hundreds of devices in each home, which will be working on IoT through 5G, and they will pose lot of risk, lot of, there are a lot of vulnerabilities, and criminals will try to take advantage. They will try to do cybercrime using IoT. Electronic vehicles are having lot of sensors, and these sensors collect lot of personal data, which means again electronic vehicles are the prime source of attack, and from where the data leakages will happen. So these are some of the things which I thought I'll highlight, that life is going to be very challenging in front of digital forensic community, which means as an academician, as a researcher, it is a very good opportunity if you can predict and anticipate the challenges which are going to be posed by technology in front of digital forensic community, and start working on them, start solving them, start providing solutions. That is the best you can do today. So that is where my first part of the talk will focus. The first prediction is privacy laws are becoming stringent. Uh, in India also, Data Protection Act is proposed, and it will see the light of the day sometime in next few years. So data protection, along with the privacy, will also have some rights to the people who are accused. Today, what happens is, if somebody is accused of a cybercrime or any crime where his digital assets are involved, those those digital assets, investigator has full access. Investigator can see anything and everything. Investigator can see private data. Investigators can see the photographs and the personal photographs and the videos, let's say wedding video or a function video. Your book ideas or anything and everything which is stored on the device can be accessed by investigator, which is contrary to the laws which are going to come, because privacy laws will say that you can access everything which is relevant for the case, but not something which is private and does not have any bearing on the case. Then how do you decide what is important, what is relevant for the case? So do we have privacy preserving solutions? That is something which we need to work on, right? Whenever there is a investigation, the device of the accused is permanently gone for a very, very long period. So if somebody's mobile phone or a laptop is taken today for investigation and it will be returned after 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, the value of the hardware or the money invested in that particular device is lost for the user. So can we do something so that we can do investigation faster? Data relevant for the case, which is not relevant for the case, could be leaked. There is a book idea or a business idea, or there is an IPR, there is a patent pending application which has not been filed. All this, if accessed by somebody who is not the rightful owner of it, can misuse it. So overall investigation also becomes longer, because let's say if I'm investigating a case and I'm accessing data which is not relevant for the case, it will delay the investigation, right? And that's where the pendency of cases are increasing. So the need of the hour is privacy preserving forensic investigation solutions. So this will be an automated system. This will be an expert system which will leverage artificial intelligence, machine learning, pattern recognition to find out patterns of the data. Crime also follows 80-20 principle. What I mean by 80-20 principle is that 80% of the crimes are only 4 or 5 types of the crimes, whereas 20% of the crimes could be very, very complicated, but 80% of crimes are only few, which you can investigate faster, for which you can develop standard SOPs. What are the anticipated evidences for those kind of cases. So what we need to do probably is, in the first phase, if we develop a privacy preserving solutions for 80% of the cases, which are only few type cases, by using the metadata, by using the knowledge about what kind of files, what kind of data points are and data artifacts are used and evidence in these kind of cases. Let's take an example. Let's say I'm making counterfeit degrees or counterfeit licenses. So what I will do, I will have a genuine degree and genuine license, and then I will scan it. And after scanning, I will edit it into multiple names. Let's say I want to give degree to 10 people. I will write their names, change their roll numbers, and print out 10 more copies. Similarly, for the license, I have one genuine license which I will scan. And after scanning, I will make multiple copies of the license, give it out to many people. So now the pattern over here is, in a folder, in a storage media, I will have one file and 10 more files, copy of it, which are almost having the similar size. Their name might be having something common, let's say license, and they will probably be stored in same location, same folder, right? So if I get lot of files of similar size with similar kind of names in similar folder, this could be one point of, one parameter which can say that these could be counterfeit documents which are being made there, right? So by investigating a case, by understanding the knowledge about that case, by understanding what kind of data points become evidence in a particular case, we can apply that intelligence to automatically find those evidence in a storage media. So that would be the part one of this particular solution. But when we talk about privacy preserving, we need to also employ and use some kind of encryption, some kind of an automated encryption on when we are doing imaging, when we are doing matching, and there are standard encryption protocols which allow you to do these kind of things. So this problem statement requires two things: understanding of encryption and understanding of various new developments which are taking place in the world of cryptography, along with cases information, how cases are investigated, what kind of evidences are there, what kind of metadata is there. So if we combine these two to make an expert system, an automated system which can carry out privacy preserving forensic investigation for us, that is something which is need of the hour. So this is one problem statement which will require a lot of work. Many people can work on this area. There are scopes to solve it, crime wise, model wise, and development of expert system wise. So there are many contributions which could be made in this area. So that is what is my problem statement number one, which we are going to see going forward in next few years, that there will be a lot of emphasis on privacy preserving forensic investigation. Moving on, This will require a lot of research and development work. As I discussed, we require a privacy preserving automated forensic investigation framework. And as I told you, approximate hashing is one such technique which is part of cryptography. Intelligent imaging is something which we have to think 80-20 principle and expert system I have discussed. So this automation will lead to efficiency and effectiveness of the investigation. Overall, the life cycle of digital forensic investigation will become smarter and shorter, and hence pendency of the cases as well as investigation speed could be increased tremendously. Next set of things is, as we are seeing, our imaging device, the cameras are becoming every day, more powerful. Once upon a time we had, only few GB cameras, right? Today we have, 100 megapixel cameras. We have optical zoom which is 30, 40, 50 times. So what I predict is, going forward we will have unbelievably powerful imaging devices, which means phones, CCTV cameras. CCTV cameras today are not very good. They are not having very great resolution, but going forward we will have gigapixel kind of images, which means we will also have optical zooms probably 1,000 times in next few years, which means extraordinary high quality images could be taken from far distances, and they will be, having lot of information, which means the size of the images will be very high, which means we will require a lot of processing capabilities, processing power. Hardware requirements will also go forward and become important, and investigation will become slow. Now, what we need is, we need some kind of automated systems where we can employ machine learning, AI, and GAN kind of solutions to probably investigate these extremely realistic images, video, audio, news, which could be counterfeit also. Today, we can generate a lot of synthetic data, synthetic videos, synthetic images, synthetic audios. All these things can be generated very easily. So this is going to be a challenge. How do we develop solutions for video, audio, image, document authentication going forward? How do we detect tampering, whether the tampering has taken place or not, or what kind of tampering has taken place? So these are the questions which needs to be answered going forward about this. Again, AI ML based next generation forensic investigation tools for audio, video, image, and news authentication will be required, and we are not working on it. Very few people are taking up this research problem, and lot of solutions which work today will not work because the image size, image quality, and the information in image will be so high that we may require, let's say, GPU based solutions which can process it faster. So these are some of the things which are required in the domain, documents, audio, video, image, and fake news. These are some of the problem statements. Then we have mobile forensics. Mobile forensics means you need to extract data from the mobile of an accused person. Now what happens is, we have iPhones, we have next generation Android which is there. So there, if you do not know the password and the pin or the pattern, you cannot get into device, because data stored inside the chips is all encrypted. So the problem is twofold. One is, user of the mobile phone will refuse to share the pattern and the password on the pin. Then how do you break it? How do you bypass it? And in case the device is damaged, how do you extract data from the chips which is encrypted? Right. So these two problem statements require a lot of work. So chip off is becoming difficult, which is a solution currently being used. Encryption is becoming non-breakable or extremely time consuming. That is also something which is becoming problematic. As I told you, pattern, pin, passwords are not bypassable in most cases today. So 90% of the crimes will have some kind of mobile phone as a possible potential device which has evidences. And out of those 90% of the mobile phones, 95% phones will not be able to be bypassed. Only the very, very old phones where technology is old, you can bypass today in terms of pin and password, but otherwise you can't. So data extraction will become next to impossible with current set of technologies for carrying out mobile forensics, which is already happening, and maybe next 1 year it will be very, very difficult. So solution is, we need to develop new solution vectors for extraction of data from mobile devices in an efficient and economical manner. One such way is, we have USB Type 3 to charge our mobile phone. When we connect our phone with USB Type 3, Type C, what happens is, there is a there is a negotiation about power because charger can provide multiple watts. Same charger can be used for multiple phones. So phone and the charger talk to each other and negotiate using a protocol known as power delivery protocol. Some people have found out there are vulnerabilities in power delivery protocol. Using those vulnerabilities, you can actually bypass OS, you can actually bypass pin and the password and the pattern, and you can directly go to the data. So these kind of new attack vectors needs to be understood, investigated, and we need to develop next generation mobile forensic solution. That is what is required. We are also seeing, lot of cyber physical systems are becoming target for attack. We have legacy systems, cyber physical systems for critical infrastructure, including power sector, hospitals, banks. So if you see, some of the banks, some of the hospitals are still using Windows 98 or 95 or up to Windows 2000. And these systems are not being supported by any vendor anymore. That means a lot of vulnerabilities exist, but there is no patch, no support available for them, which means they are the sitting duck systems. Anybody can attack them through vulnerabilities and can take over the systems. So banks and hospitals are the prime target. And next few years we will see a lot of attacks happening there. Again, legacy system, when I talk about our nuclear systems and our power systems, our ATM systems, mostly are using legacy systems, and that's where cyber physical security becomes important. So we have lack of manpower for cyber physical systems because people are only learning new things. We have no expertise or very little knowledge about how to do forensic investigation of legacy systems. We have lack of standards because those devices are vendor specific. There is no standardization there. So I think we need to focus on developing solutions for cyber physical system security, their forensic investigation, standardization, and how we can phase them out in a manner which is admissible, which is economical, and which is efficient. So cyber physical systems require sharing of experiences, best practices of forensic investigation, because let's say if I'm doing a forensic investigation of a cyber physical system, whatever I learn, I should share those experiences and best practices with the community. We need to enhance the capabilities of cyber physical systems to ensure forensic readiness. Right now they are not forensic ready, and we need to develop vendor neutral protocols and standards for development of next generation cyber physical system. That is also something very, very important. Then we have cloud. We have dumb terminals and private clouds. So cloud forensic paradigm is changing fast. We have various kind of clouds, and as I told you, today there are laptops and systems where you don't have any storage media. They run directly by getting information from the cloud, and there is no storage media. So in case of investigation being done for these dumb terminals, you will not get any evidence from those hardwares. You need to go to cloud and extract data. So how do we define SLAs with cloud? How do we make sure that cloud systems can be investigated for any kind of cyber crime? So we need to develop cloud forensic paradigm. We need to again develop standardized service level agreements and understanding of how can we run tools on the cloud environment to retrieve forensic evidences. Cloud has multiple ownership, tenancies, and jurisdictions, and these are again posing problems. So in the law also we need to define some of the new definitions so that jurisdiction can be defined very well. So distributed nature of cloud computing, because cloud is not at a single place, presents a variety of challenges to law enforcement agencies because now you don't know how to investigate, what to investigate, where are the evidences. So solution again lies in sharing best practices and developing best practices, development of next generation cloud forensic framework, which people are working on, development of vendor neutral protocol, as I discussed again earlier. Right. Next big thing which is going to happen is quantum computing. We are hearing that Google already has a quantum computer which works 1,000 times faster than the normal best of the best server. Right. So maybe in next few years, quantum computing will see the light of the day. Now what will happen is, we all know encryption or the cryptography. Once cloud computing is there, all those cryptographic protocols like AES, RSA algorithm, they will not be remaining immune. They could be attacked, they could be broken very easily. Hence, we require quantum ready cryptography. That is what people are working on. But what I say, we also need quantum ready protocols. We also need quantum ready digital forensic tools. Nobody is working on developing quantum ready digital forensic tools. So one fine day, once quantum computing comes, these are the problems which are going to happen. Criminals will leverage, they will be the first on the block to use quantum computing to take its advantage. They will buy best of the best quantum computers and do a lot of frauds. Hence, I think this is the time that we start working on quantum ready digital forensic tools, and that is something which is going to help us a lot, right? Imaging, which is known as the bit by bit copying of data from the suspect storage media to the copies of that media to do the investigation, is the standard today. But then, imaging has not changed from last 20-25 years. Imaging process remains same. It is time consuming process. It takes 8 to 10 hours, and there is no intelligence into it. So I propose to develop next generation intelligent imaging system where when we are doing imaging, we are applying intelligence. We are not copying data which is coming again and again, where the hashes match and the standard files which have never changed, like operating system files. Can we do something using that where we can make sure it is admissible, where the hashes remains same, but we can leverage and apply intelligence to speed up the digital imaging process. That is something many people are working on. One of my students is also working on. SSDs, solid state drives, they are the next generation storage media. Everybody has it. They are fast, they are like chips. But if you delete data from SSD, recovery of deleted data from SSD is almost next to impossible, because they apply electrical charges to store data, and to whenever next erase cycle comes, everything is reset to the same thing. And then SSD deleted data recovery is very, very difficult. So we need to take up research in development of solutions which can recover data from deleted SSDs. Once I delete it from SSD, what can we do to recover it? What are the remnants there which can be used to understand what data was present there? So we need to develop forensic ready data storage systems. Whenever a new storage media is being designed and developed by storage community, can we ask them to make it forensic ready? Which means in case somebody is misusing the storage media to do crimes, can we ensure that deleted data will always be recovered? Can we also develop operating system which will help in forensic investigation? Today, lot of data is not retained by operating system. Only some part of the data is retained. Some things are being logged, not everything is logged. Can we develop some kind of forensic ready operating system? That should be also an agenda of digital forensic community. Right, we have digital forensics of IoT devices. That is a new science, new area, and right now it is not very developed. Only few people are working on it. But because of the 5G and IoT, which is now becoming available throughout the world, I'm sure a large number of problem statements we can find in IoT device forensics. We have UAVs, you have drones, we have unmanned air vehicles which are becoming accessible, and again laws needs to be written to put some boundaries, some regulation around these, as well as how do we investigate them, how do we investigate and retrieve data about the travel path of a drone, what all places it has seen, what all places it has been, what all data it has collected, how do we extract that data? Smart swarms, smart grids, smart buildings, smart homes, all will be subjected to some kind of fraud. Today, we have seen that on roads, there are a lot of cameras. And on those cameras, on those poles, on the bottom, there is a junction box, which can very easily be opened up by a screwdriver, and people can connect to it and extract data. What can we do to ensure security and safety of smart grids, smart buildings, smart cities? We have devices like Alexa, Google Home, smart home assistants of various companies, which are always on listening to us. What all they are listening, how can we use them for forensic investigation, what all data can be extracted from these devices? These are again some of the questions which require investigation, again research problems. We have autonomous cyber physical systems, cyber biological systems are also coming, right? So we need to then understand that can cyber biological and cyber physical systems needs different kind of forensic investigation, and that is what we need to think of. We are having wearables and machine to machine communication. Fridge can talk to routers and then order something if something is low in supply in the fridge, for example, milk. So now systems are talking to each other, machines are talking to each other without any human being intervention automatically. We have wearable watches and bands, which record our sleeping pattern, walking pattern, lot of private sensitive data, and which is being leaked indirectly or directly, intentionally and unintentionally both. So we need to find out what kind of data leakages are happening, how that data leakages can be plugged, and what are the problems, what are the challenges which we foresee, which will be there in case of these data leakages. And that is something again, we are not right now working on, and that requires a lot of attention, lot of work which people need to do. We have RFID sensors, we have, context aware computing. When we talk about context aware computing, it's like autonomous computing where human intervention is not required. Sensors are there which are collecting data and decisions are being taken. Can somebody manipulate these decisions? Can somebody influence these sensors? And how do we secure them and how do we investigate in case something has gone wrong? That is something we need to think of. Side channel attacks, this is my favorite topic. Side channel attack means you're leaking information without you even know that you are leaking. For example, let's say out of 10 computers in a lab, one is being used for Bitcoin mining. Somebody is mining the Bitcoins. The easiest non-technical way to find out is the machine which is generating maximum heat, where CPU is being used most probably is right now doing calculation for Bitcoins mining, and that's a way you can find out. You know, in a normal physical lock, when we insert the key, the key insertion sound can be recorded by a mobile phone, and you can using that digital signal processing, using the noise of each lever interacting with each lever, you can actually figure out and develop three keys. There's a research paper known as SPIKEY, SPIKEY. SPIKEY, it's a research done by a set of researchers in Singapore, paper published last 2 years back, that people can record sound of key insertion in a physical lock and use that using digital signal processing to develop actual physical keys with the accuracy of 100%, that they will generate three keys and one of them will definitely open the lock. That's a side channel attack. So side channel attack means you are leaking information using sensors in form of heat, in form of sound. So there is a research paper last year which I read where, like we are having a meeting right now, right? So what they did is in a Zoom call, they recorded each person separately. And then, some people when they are in a Zoom session, if they are bored, they are working on some other windows. So what they do is they open their Gmail or a banking application, log in there and start working. So they figured out based on eye movements and shoulder movements that what a person is typing, right? So using the recorded video on a virtual call, they could figure out what a person is doing, what activity is doing, what he is typing with a 98% accuracy. And that means you are leaking information in Zoom calls or WebEx calls or whatever video calls you are making. The movement of your eye, movement of your body, reflection of your specs can reveal what is there on screen and what you are doing. That is also some kind of side channel attack. So there are n number of side channel attack examples which I can keep on giving, but this is an area of research which I think we should work on. Smart home speaker systems I've discussed, Alexas and the Google Homes of the world needs forensic investigation. We have micro mobility like scooters, electronic scooters, bikes, which contains GPS location readers, which contains a touch based system, which contains a lot of sensors of who is sitting, what is the weight of the person. All that data can be leaked and can be misused, and somebody can hack into the device, hack into the two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, and can suddenly put a brake on high speed. That kind of attacks can also happen. So how do we secure electronic vehicles and smart mobility solutions, and how do we ensure that we can do forensic investigation in case something has gone wrong? Right, we need to also automate the investigation life cycle of legal system. Right now what happens is you go to a district court, from there you go to high court, to then Supreme Court, and then every time the evidences will be taken there, every time the investigation will happen. The evidences from one court to another court takes a lot of time to go. Can we have a centralized digital evidence record system where role based access can be given, devices can be returned to the user faster, and the evidences can move between various codes automatically? saving lot of time, speeding up investigation. So this is also something which is an area where a lot of work is required. Moving on, we require creative search and seizure process. When you go today, criminals are smart. Let's say if I'm a criminal, I will not keep my hard drive out in open for you to come and seize it. I will hide it. I will hide it inside the sofa cover, inside the fall ceiling. I will have a pen drive which I will put into the stone-like structure which can be opened and closed, and I will put it into the fish tank. So there is a stone in the fish tank, which if you take out one particular stone and you rotate it, it will open up and inside there will be a pen drive. How do you find out? Nobody, no law enforcement agency can very easily find it out. There are disguised devices. There is a watch which has a pen drive. There is a pen who has a pen drive. There are necklaces which has a pen drive. How do you find out these disguised devices? Very difficult. So we need to develop new kind of tools which can detect these devices. Each computing device is made of a particular material. Like for example, storage chips have something known as TTPO chemical. So if I can train a device or a dog to sniff out TTPO, they can find out hidden devices. So we require that also, right? We need to train people on finding out digital artifacts from the crime scene, and that is an area of research which I again think people should take it up. As I told you, sensor-based search and seizure. Can you develop some kind of electronic nose which can sniff out evidences? Can we do digital fingerprinting of devices? Which means, let's say if I'm making a call from this phone versus tomorrow I take out the SIM and we put it into another phone. Can you differentiate between the microphones of two phones? And that my chip has changed, my device has changed. I'm using the same SIM, but my microphone and the camera is different, and that can be used to again do a lot of investigations. Then we need to develop standards for digital forensic investigation, which again is something important, and not a lot of work is being done in this area. Digital forensic readiness, which means we need to assess organizations for their readiness in terms of digital forensics. We are having a lot of readiness in terms of cybersecurity, that cybersecurity should be ensured. But in case cybersecurity is breached, are you ready for further forensic investigation? That is not being assessed. So that is an area of research, an area of service. A lot of enterprises will require this kind of service. So this is a business area. This is a service area where you can take it up and you can open startup which can carry out digital forensic readiness, which will also require some kind of tools and audits. So you need to develop those methodologies. There are standards. 27037 is a digital forensic standard. ISO 27037 is one such standards which can be used. We also can develop automated benchmarking tools which can work in enterprises and organizations to come out with some kind of scores of, what is their digital forensic readiness. We can also develop a lot of first responder checklist, guidelines and tools that in case something is going wrong, what to do? What should first responder do? What is his roles and responsibilities? What kind of anti-forensic problems we are facing, and how to solve those anti-forensic problems is again something which I thought I will discuss. Right, awareness. As we all know, whatever you do, ultimately awareness is something which will help, because the very first thing we can do is if we make people aware, a lot of frauds can be stopped in the bud before they happen. So we need to develop next generation awareness programs. We need to probably develop cartoons, books, magazines, and very innovative programs which will reach out. Let's say in schools, we need to make people aware. So these kind of things are also required. We will require technological solutions to generate red flags, right? Like phishing websites, can we have a plugin which can flag a what you call that, a red flag in terms of a phished website to be clicked. We need to develop solutions to avoid cyber crimes, right? In this context, I have written a book, Cyber Unsafe, which basically talks about small stories and non-technical ways of avoiding cyber crimes. It also has open problems which requires technical solutions. Now I would request one person to read it for me loud and fast. Can somebody unmute and read it loud and fast? Anyone? Somebody who's hosting, can he read?
Can I try?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I'm not sure how accurate I will be, but yes, I will try. So I couldn't believe that I could actually understand what I was reading using the power of
Incredible.
the power of the human mind. And according to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter what order the iteration in the words are. The only important thing is that the first and the last is be in the right place. The rest can be total missing, or you can
Yes.
still read it without any problem. This is because human mind does not read every letter by itself, but word as a whole. Amazing. Yeah, I was always thought I was
Spelling was important.
missing anything important. Maybe something
Right.
like
So you
that.
could read everything. Reason is we are intelligent. Our mind subconsciously ignores various things, and that is what is being used by criminals to do a lot of frauds. Right. So today's talk is about now the second part of the talk starts where I'm trying to change your perspective about cybercrime. How can you avoid cybercrimes? Now my question would be, what can you see on the screen? Can you type in chat? Is it a block or a puzzle? What? What is it?
It's a block. Looks like a block.
It looks like a block because you are not looking for something. So if I tell you there are letters, let me help you. Can you see something now? It is as a L, I, F, T. Can you see?
Yes. Yes.
So you were not able to see when the lines were not there because your mind was not looking for it. Once I showed you by putting these lines, even if I remove lines, you can still see it by putting imaginary lines. Basically, your perspective has changed. You have a new perspective now. Similarly, if I tell you about modus operandi of criminals, once you know the modus operandi, those modus operandi will not work on you if cyber criminals want to do crime against you. And that is what I'm going to talk about now. So we all must be wondering what makes cybercrime possible for criminals? What makes it possible? Actually, cybercrime is possible because of us, cyberspace users who are not aware, who are very complacent, who take security lightly, and that's where a lot of frauds happens. Fraud also happen because of the convergence of technologies and rapid speed of change of technology, as I discussed, because things change fast. Before you can understand their security, before you can understand their misuse, they change. So there are a lot of unintended uses of technology. For example, there are synthetic videos, synthetic images, audios, text, anything and everything could be counterfeited. So whatever you see by your eyes today may or may not be right. Now my next question is, which of these websites are fine? Type in chat. One of them is fine. Which one? Somebody is saying three. Google.
SBI.co.in.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
actually the first
SBI
one
dot
is the only
SBI dot.
one which is right, because the
Oh,
first one is like a Russian Flipkart. It's a Russian shopping site. Second one is not Yahoo, it is YAH00.com. Third one is not SBI.co.in. I has been replaced by L. It is SB small L.co.in, but L to your eyes looks like an I. That's where eyes don't work properly, right? Fourth
good
one is
one.
not ONGC, it is OGNC. GNN has been replaced. The last one is not Google, it is G00.GL. And we can actually develop a small browser plugin which can detect all this for me, right? But we are not doing it right now. That's where the problem lies. Criminals, what they do is they try to deceive our mind, they manipulate our emotions. And how do they do it? They do it by exploiting our emotions of trust, greed, panic, fear, threat, and disruption. So, they will pose with different stories that they are calling from bank. They will send us a link for payment and so on. They will say that you have won a lottery, you have inherited something. They will create panic by saying your card will be blocked, your SIM will be blocked. And in panic, people do a lot of things. Fear of missing out. They will give you a scheme that, I'm giving you 95% off on something. In next 3 minutes, the scheme will be over. So that you don't check, you don't consult, you just act. They will give you a threat. They will use disruption. Like as I told you, 5G is coming. They will send you a link saying that click this link to check whether your phone is 5G ready or not. So these kind of things they will do. So criminals will keep on developing new stories to exploit your emotions. Same kind of emotions are being exploited again and again by different stories. So what we need to know is, we need to know that if somebody is pushing us, somebody is pushing us to do something in short span of time in digital world, that is a problem. If somebody is asking you to make payment in 2 minutes, somebody is saying your account will be blocked, let your account be blocked, rather than falling for it and losing a lot of money. So in today's world, anything and everything could be counterfeited. So aankhon dekhi and kano suni may not be true in today's world also. Whatever you do, once upon a time we used to say, whatever you see by your eyes, whatever you hear by your ears is the only truth. Today it is not the case. Synthetic videos, audios, text, document, anything and everything could be made using AI. Criminals are very, very lazy, but they are creative. So once they develop a solution, they will use it multiple times. So the idea should be, if we know their modus operandi, someday they will try the same modus operandi on us also and our family and friends. So if we discover their modus operandi by reading about them and tell it to everybody and everybody we know, that modus operandi will not work. Their perspective will also change, and that is how we can actually avoid lot of cyber crimes. As rightly pointed out by somebody, that deep fakes are the ones which are being made today. I will show you example. Let me share something with you. I am going to share my Firefox. Okay, so can you see? Can you see my browser?
Yes, sir.
So if you see here, this is a photograph. This person does not exist.com. If I refresh it, it will show me a new face. These are the faces of the people who are not existent in this world. They are synthetic pages, synthetic faces. If you see here, it says this face has been imagined by GAN. It is not of a real person. This is generated by a software synthetically, right? Further, I will show you something, that my text in your handwriting. This is a research work where, let's say I will write again, my text in your handwriting. Here what they do is, if somebody's samples are taken, let's say the way you write, those samples are taken, a computer can be made to learn how you write. And once computer knows how you write, from that, it can understand how you write A, how you write B, how you combine letters. And using that, a new text can be supplied to the computer. Let's say I want it to write something like this. This is right now taken away. Computer has learned how you write from one person's writing, and now it is improving, because right now they are at a distance. They looks like, it is not original, but now they will be combined together, right? I can improve it. So it is rendering these through a program, and they will become better and better and extremely realistic. Now what I can do is, in the next step, I can connect a robotic arm which is having a pen in his hand, and that robotic arm will be controlled by this software to sign or write like you. So today, you see, this has become extremely realistic now. So if I give a pen in a robotic arm hand and the program will try to write like this, it can. So these are some of the things which I thought I'll share, where lot of frauds are happening because of the fact that all these things are possible. Lot of deep fakes are available, deep fake news, deep fake audio, video, text, everything could be made, right? Then there are a lot of examples which I'm going to share today about social media. Like social media is fun. We think social media is fun, but actually it depends. It depends on how you use it. When you share a photograph on a WhatsApp or a Facebook or a Twitter, you're not only sharing photograph, you're also sharing GPS location. You're also sharing what kind of camera is it. You're also sharing focal length of the camera, operating system of the camera, version of the browser, and so on. All that can be misused. So if I ask you, what were you doing 1 year back, same time? Can somebody tell me the answer? What were you doing 1 year back, same time? Anybody who can tell me? Very difficult, right? But Google knows that. If you go to takeout.google.com, this website contains all the data about what you have done so far in last 10 years. Since you're using mobile phone where you logged in using Google, right? So this is good for law enforcement agencies. They can actually go to takeout.google.com of a criminal if he, logs in into account, and you can download everything he has done, every place he has been, whatever he has searched, wherever he has posted, everything can be find out, right? As a user, you must also be aware that this data is sensitive. If you don't want it to be there, you should delete this data from there. Download it and delete it. Otherwise, this could possibly be misused by criminals. Do you think one can be trained for investigating computer frauds and cybercrime? Answer is partially yes. If you have background, let's say you are doing some kind of degree in the related area, after that bootstrapping will be required, which means you need to be given some kind of 3 month, 6 month program training or a degree or a diploma, and then you can start work in this area. But you will require to constantly update yourself by reading and finding out research which is happening in this area to keep up and keep pace with the technology. Knowing what solution exists both commercially as well as academically will help you develop and investigate crimes in a better manner. As a researcher also, you need to know what are the solutions which exist so that you can develop better solution than them, right? So we think press delete or a shift delete and data is gone. If you do a format or you break open a CD or a DVD, data is gone. Answer is no. But once data created, it will always remain in storage media. Data is only physically there, logically deleted. Deletion is only logical. So recovery depends on capability, knowledge, skill, resources, and motivation of the person who wants it back. If you really want it back, you will definitely get it back. That's where a piece of advice to you. Never create a piece of electronic data. It could be a video, audio, or a text which you do not want to retain forever. Because if you create something, if you share some intimate photograph or some abusive joke with anybody, tomorrow it will be recovered and you could be implicated in various sections of the law, including IT Act and IPC, which disallows many of the actions. So you must be very, very careful about it. We think criminals are techno geeks who knows a lot. Are the criminals? Answer is no. Anybody and everybody who has access to internet and knows how to use computer actually can download tools and run attacks. You know, those cyber geeks, they only do crimes when they are having state sponsorship, when they're working for a country. Otherwise, it's very difficult. More you know, more chances are that you are not going to do crime. You will do only crime when you are not aware about implications, right? So I'll skip this example. This is not required. So identity thefts, they are happening a lot. Lot of identity thefts are happening today, right? Identity theft means your identity is being misused, which means starting from your documents like Aadhaar card, PAN card, which you get photocopied, they can be misused to open bank accounts and to take SIM cards from and to your credit cards. When you pay at a petrol pump, you know, they swipe your card and return you back. What can happen is there could be a camera somewhere which is recording everything using video, and your card, when you are swiping, will be photographed by the camera from both front and the back side. Now what will happen is you will say OTP will be required to do a transaction, but not if I'm doing the transaction internationally. I can carry out transaction in US. I can buy a laptop from bestbuy.com and deliver it to Singapore, and no OTP will be required. What you should do probably is two things. Remove the CVV number from the back of your card so that even if somebody records both sides of your card, he will not have the CVV number to complete the transaction. And second, go to the net banking of your card or a bank and disable international transaction until you are traveling out of India. Put limits on POS or ATM withdrawals and internet-based transactions, say 5,000 rupees, so that your maximum loss is limited. Right? So these things are happening. These things are real. This is very important. Internet and online gaming addiction is becoming real. People as young as 10 to 15 are addicted to online games like PUBG. Teenagers spend a lot of time on Facebook, Instagram, Reels, and so on. People make and take videos and selfies at dangerous location to get more likes. And that's very dangerous. Sometimes accidents do happen. So idea is we should limit our screen time. We should limit our wastage of time. If you have to do something, so you make it schedule. Let's say every day 5 to 5:30, half an hour you will waste your time using Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Rest of the time you should use technology only for good purpose. Otherwise, you will become addict. It will have mental health issues, which in turn will have issues in terms of your performances. So in today's world, survival of the most aware is the mantra. If you're not aware, you are going to be in problem. Right? UPI frauds are happening. Free is bad or free is good. Depends. According to me, free mostly is bad. Free Wi-Fi is used to do espionage on you. Whatever you do on free Wi-Fi, all that data can be seen in plain text by criminals. Right? Juice checking. When you're traveling and your phone is about to be dead in terms of charge, you have a mad rush to find for a charging station. The charging stations could be compromised. Those wires could serve you malware, ransomware. Right? So what should you do? If my phone is on low on battery, I don't charge it using charging station. What I do is I charge my power bank. And from my power bank, I charge my phone because my power bank cannot be infected by charging station. And if at all I don't have a power bank and I have to charge my phone, I switch it off. Switched off phone probably can't be infected with virus versus a switched on phone. Lost and found USBs. Criminals intentionally infect USBs, pen drives with malware and ransomwares and drop it everywhere in parking lots, in office parking lots and shopping malls. So if you get any pen drive lying anywhere, never plug it into your own computer and office computer, because otherwise it will have a very dangerous effect of infecting it with malware and ransomware. And for ransomwares, you should always take backups, because once your computers get infected with ransomware, even if you pay ransom, there is no guarantee they will give you the keys. Better would be to reset and format the system and restore from the backup. Section 43 and 72 of the IT Act mandates people to ensure confidentiality and privacy of data. Not only yours, any data which has been shared with you as a part of your job profile or a job role, you need to do that. Otherwise, there are liabilities. Hardware keyloggers, small pen drive kind of device which can be put at the backside of your CPU. No antivirus can find it out. You need to do regular audits in enterprise and check for these. Right? So I always tell people prevention is better than the cure, is applicable in digital world also. We need to take precaution. We need to understand how crimes are happening. What can we do to avoid crimes? Right? So once upon a time, it used to be the case, if you are wealthy, you are more immune to crime, which means you can buy security. You can have people who could protect you. Cyber crime has tipped it other way in today's internet era. If you're wealthy, you have more digital devices, you have more digital footprint. If your one device is compromised, criminal will now compromise all your data in other devices also. Right? So you need to be very, very careful about it. So that's where, a lot of small stories about how to avoid cyber crimes in terms of 2-3 page story and non-technical solutions have been given in this book. In Cybersecurity Awareness Month, I think reading this book would be really, really helpful. These are the screenshots, like it contains some statement which could be either true or false, and a story and some tips. These kind of things are mentioned in the book. So this is the summary. Some of the tips, like you put your pin on your SIM so that your SIM cannot be misused. Lock your phone while driving, because if you are driving using Google Map, your phone will not get auto locked, and if somebody snatches it, he can have full access to your phone. So always lock physically your phone after switching on the Google Map. Lock your Aadhaar biometric, because that is being used to do APS fraud. People are taking out money from your Aadhaar linked bank account using this technique. Use net banking to restrict international transactions and put limits. Remove CVV number, as I discussed. Always take backups at frequent intervals of all your critical data, personal as well as organizational data, and keep it disconnected and safe. Don't take backup and put that backup hard drive into the same bag where you put your laptop, because if somebody snatches your laptop, your hard drive is also gone. Shred your garbage, your boarding passes, your ATM slips, your Amazon parcels which are coming, outer cover. We all just throw them away. They contain a lot of important confidential and private information. Delete data from social media sites which is not required. Otherwise, criminals will have access to it and they will misuse it. So these are some of the tips and tricks which I thought I'll share. Now I'm open to question. You can write email to me. You can connect to me. I will also share the LinkedIn profile link as well as book link in the chat so that you can browse them. You can read reviews of the book on Amazon and then figure out more details. And I am now open to questions.
So, so we have one question from Rishabh S. He's asking as to what are the thoughts on how a good balance can be established between user privacy and forensic investigation?
Yes. So as I told you, there are cryptographic protocols which can search in encrypted data. So if I encrypt the data of the accused completely and then I run encrypted searches, I can actually search whatever I want and it will only show me things which I am looking for. That is one. Second is, as I told you, privacy preserving protocols, privacy preserving solutions are there, which many people are working on along with me and my student also, which will ensure that completeness of investigation is done along with privacy of the accused is stored, ensured. So you need lot of cryptographic and privacy preserving solutions which you need to read about them, and I think that is the answer.
Also, if anybody else is having any queries, please put it in the chat box. We'll wait for a minute.
So I have posted book link as well as my LinkedIn profile. Please connect with me.
Sir, can we mitigate the risk of cyber forensic if we use the um, same equipments in our government, yeah, in private sectors? That means they are using different equipment of different companies, and they are they are very prone to use a cyber attack. So can we mitigate the risk if we use the same, as I have already told?
No. See, you can never ensure that same kind of things are used everywhere. People will use variety. For various reasons that will happen. So the idea is, can we find out what are the possible regions of frauds and the compromises, what are the vulnerabilities, and if we can plug them. And if we can make people aware about what to do and what not to do, how to ensure security of their devices and their data, that will go and that will help in much larger way than any other thing.
But it can be done in government sector, sir, to use same equipment, yeah, same channel for their information
So
safety.
difficult. Reason is, government, as and when the requirement comes to buy something, there are procedures like, L1, lowest cost one. And lowest cost may vary based on every year, every vendor. Something which was available today may not be available tomorrow. So those are practical issues.
Okay, sir.
So there is one question from Prashant which says that how do we get training for all the co-ops related stuff?
It's
So,
cyber physical systems. So I have
okay.
just one question to add to this. Now, it looks like digital forensics is imperative given the situation and the amount of digitalization that we have gone through and past couple of years. The things have not been really good. How do you think the ministry, as a government or in a private, can train people around? Because people like me who are working or who are engaged in other things, but who also want to get into digital forensics, right? How can we learn about this thing, and is there any platform for that?
So what I'm saying, so what happens is government is doing a lot to train people. One of the program is run by our ministry where we are training through NEGD. If you go to NEGD website, National E-Governance Division of MIT, where we have a diploma program where we are training 1,000+ people on cyber laws, digital forensics, and forensic investigation. Then NCRB has a portal where they are having material to train for digital forensics. Then there are forensic conferences like DFRWS and IFIP, which happens every alternate year in India also. So these are some of the forums where a lot of digital forensic related research work, important research work which can be practically used is available. Then we have forums and then talks like this one. I keep taking talks. If you connect to me on LinkedIn, I keep posting there also. So a lot of information dissemination is happening both in government as well as for anybody and everybody in India. Digital forensics is actually gaining a lot of ground. So there are a lot of avenues to learn. So you please write to me. I'll also share more details to you.
Sure, sir. I'll get in contact with you online. Thank you.
And there are a lot of
So,
opportunities for doing research and internship. Some students work with me. Then Government of India has a Digital India internship program. It just closed. I think the one set of internship was done starting from June, July till September. Every year, early, let's say February to May, they open it up. People can apply and they select digital forensic, the interns for Digital India program, including forensics, malware, cybersecurity, and various other domains where Government of India takes a lot of people as interns and then train them. And if somebody is really good in coding and wants to do good work, I also take couple of interns every year directly, where I work on a lot of digital forensic related open issues and try to solve them. So you can contact me if you want to pursue, and if you are good, if you find the right set of problem, I would be happy to help.
Sure, sir.
Okay, okay,
There was
sir.
actually one from DIIT, sir, a couple of years back or last year or before that.
Every year we are taking interns in Digital India internship program. You can search Digital India internship.
Yeah, one with DIIT was also there, but I guess they discontinued. Pune,
No,
DIIT.
Mighty is continuing. Mighty is continuing.
Okay, sir.
sir, there is one question from Rishabh S, who's asking that can cyber forensic tools be taken through proper senior approvals during they used to have proper logging and prevention of improper use within the administration? If so, are there any steps taken towards it?
So that's where I'm talking about privacy preserving forensic investigation. If the tools can, because one of the privacy preserving aspect would be logging, that what you are doing, who is doing what, and all those will become mandatory going forward after some time once the laws are in place. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. There's another question from Rakesh that how do you rate digital forensic at India compared to the rest of the world, UK, US, Israel, etc.?
So what happens is, see, once upon a time we were catching up, but now today, since we have maximum number of cases of cyber crime being reported because of our population size, our people are really good. They are really trained, and we have a scheme which is known as Section 79A of IT Act, where we are notifying forensic labs, government forensic labs as examiner of electronic evidence. Where what we do is we go and do audits, we train them. So it's a offline and online on-site inspection where we find out all the things they are not doing right, and then they have to rectify and then take the corrective measure as per the law, as per standards. There are two couple of standards like ISO 17025 and ISO 27037. So there are 12 labs which are already notified as examiner of electronic evidence. It's there on MIT website, and many other labs are under evaluation process where we are helping them become examiner of electronic evidence. So now, since labs are becoming examiner of electronic evidence, that means they adhere to standards of international standard. And that means India as a country is doing a lot about digital forensics. We are doing a lot of research. We are contributing to the field. And I'm glad that you asked this question. These all of the questions which you are asking today, I really appreciate that, the quality of the questions being asked.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, is anyone having any other questions, or we'll move to the end of the session?
So if you have any more question, you can otherwise also mail me, message me on LinkedIn. I hope you read this book as a part of your library or as a reference. At least visit the website and see the reviews.
Sir, also one more query that some of the participants are asking for the PPT that you have been sharing through the
I will
session.
be sharing the PDF version of my PPT.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
I'll share with you, and then you can later on post it to all the people.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Okay, then I don't think there's any more further queries. So Thank you, sir, for the informative session, because this session has helped the NFSU students to start thinking in the new direction of a solution to overcome the problems in the field of forensic science. So, thank you once again, sir, for just being on board and giving us a very informative session.
Thank you for hosting me, and I'm really glad. I enjoyed speaking to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.